What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, it seems that Forespoken is, how do we say, not good? It's kind of bad, if you will. I'm not sure how this happened, right? Because it's like, Square Enix is supposed to be the pros, right? I guess, or the ones to go to. Japan's finest, right? I mean, Sony isn't. Sony isn't even in Japan. A Japanese studio making Japanese games anymore. They literally closed their Japan studio, so whatever. But like Square Enix, they supposed to be the ones. Sorry about the click clack. They're supposed to be the ones, to bring it. They have Final Fantasy. They got all the other little games, all the RPGs and 2D joints. But it seems that everybody is not really liking Forespoken. Now, everybody, remember when the demo came out, they were like, the demo's right? And then it went kind of silent, and everybody was just like, whatever. And the game's finally out. And it's getting 6s, 4s, 5s. I'm going to say it's probably one of the worst, if not the worst, performing Sony third-party exclusives. I mean, it's a timed exclusive, I think. But honestly, you can keep it. Because I don't think anybody else wants to play it after what has been shown. It's like, the thing is, here's what I don't get, right? I used to be a graphics whore, so I get it. But I don't understand why people don't understand, right? So, yes, the animation's cool, the animation blending, the traversal, all the sparkly particle effects, so cool. And it looks good for the most part. Some parts don't look good. And that is the priority on when it comes to Sony exclusives. That is the commonality. Gameplay last, as far as they're concerned, because look at all their games. What is the standout part of their games? How they look, presentation, the graphics, that's it. Writing, good writing, very important, yes, very important. And gameplay should be the number one thing. Look at Vampire Survivor, I keep bringing it up, but Vampire Survivor has like some of the best gameplay that came out last year. Hopefully it'll get its flowers at the DICE Awards or whatever, but gameplay. Why is it so hard for the Sony's ponies to realize that gameplay is paramount? Gameplay is king. Gameplay is first. That's what games are. Gameplay, not watch cutscenes. That's what The Last of Us is. That's what God of War is. And then you get to the gameplay, it's like, oh man, these puzzles are whack. Gameplay is I always said those games, the gameplay itself is meh, it's okay. But now, it's like, a game like Forespoken comes out, and the gameplay is less than meh. John Linneman, that's his name, right? He was like, yeah, this reminds me of a PS2 game. A PS3 360 game. I was like, oof. I'm like, that's really bad. That's not like a good thing to say. It's like, oh, that was a good generation. No. When somebody says that about your game, you best to go back and fix it, cause not good. And I'm looking at the gameplay, and I'm like, yeah, kinda. But they have a justification as to why the environment is so barren and empty, because there's a plague or whatever going around and everybody's blah blah blah, right? I'm like, okay, but still, you got this giant open world, ain't nothing in it, and then you go to the city, man. Look, I watched the Digital Foundry thing. he was going off on the fact that the there is no global illumination. They have ray trace shadows. That's it. And I think it's is it ray traced ambient occlusion? I think it is, but it was like so messed up that it was like, yeah, this looks stupid. The way that they had it tuned, it's like everything's overbloomed, and like in the places that were not in direct sunlight, if you will, were not. It wasn't right. It looked stupid. I was like, okay. I was looking at the screenshots and the gameplay he was showing. And I was like, why does it look like how it looks? You know, because we've come so far. And he also made the point, a very important distinction, that this game doesn't have dynamic time of day. So why wouldn't you bake in lights to make your world look delicious and beautiful? Doesn't make sense. Either they were probably trying to save time and they didn't have time to bake in the lights, or I don't even know what it is, but they should have baked in the lights. It would have made this game look 1,000 million times better. It would not have fixed the dialogue or the performances, the acting, or anything like that. Now, I'm not saying that Frey is the character's name. I'm not saying that the actor who portrays Frey is bad. I'm saying that whoever wrote Frey did a bad job, and no one likes the character. I was like, really? And I can kind of see it. And they were like, well, yeah, she was from New York. And what's his name? Khalif from Spawn on Me. He was on Game Mess Mornings, and he was like, yeah, as a native New Yorker, she's not from New York. And I was like, ow, ouchie, oochie. And then they were like, yeah, the gangsters who were like messing with her, put the gun in her neck and stuff, they weren't even, no. I was like, oh man, so bad. And then I was watching like the New York part, and it looked kind of cool, but let's be real. New York is clean. It's not clean. So they had scaffolding. There's a lot of scaffolding in certain on certain buildings, because they're always fixing stuff on buildings in New York, right? So there was a part where there was scaffolding on the sidewalk on the building, right? And the scaffolding was so pristine and clean. It was super shiny, like platinum plated. I was like, come on, son, y'all can't put no textures on that or something? What are y'all doing? That's not New York. There's nowhere in New York where you can go and find scaffolding on a building that's that beautiful and shiny. Almost as shiny as chrome. That's how clean this scaffolding was. I was like, okay, I've been to the city of New York a handful of times to witness this with my own eyes. And of course, I've seen thousands of movies and such that have these scaffoldings in it. But seeing it in person, it's metal scaffolding, usually painted, different colors, scuffed up and all. It's metal that they reuse on different buildings. I don't care if it's brand new. Metal doesn't look like that. Anyway, I'm not gonna go 1,000 hours on how the metal scaffolding in Forespoken is unrealistic, and that's why the game is trash. That's not why the game is trash. It's part of the reason why the game is trash, but it's not the entire reason why the game is trash. Mainly it's the writing, and mainly it is an unlikable protagonist. That is it, okay? Everybody else can look past like the graphics and how they're not that good. And also the fact that the game is unoptimized to a point where I think they prioritize particle physics and effects and not just optimization of anything, really. I mean, this is like SSDs and direct storage and all that stuff. I don't know if actually this game has direct storage, but it is a PlayStation 4 game, I believe. So there's that. But I can't put it into words, because it's just not. It's a bad start for 2023. Let's just say that for the PlayStation. This is supposed to be one of their bangers this year, and it's not a banger. It came out with little fanfare. Nobody likes it. It's in the 60s. I think it got lower than a point or two lower than what's the game? High on Life. High on Life is a cool game. I would probably rather play High on Life than this game, because it just looks unpleasant. It doesn't look like fun, if that makes sense. And I think it's really about the story and the character and all the surroundings of, and the writing, of course, all those things that make you not want to play, because you're like, I really don't like this character. I really don't like the writing. The gameplay is cool and the wrestle is cool, but everything else is trash. And then there was another thing where they said the first boss that you fight, the lady with the face thing, she has the same attack pattern as like the other regular enemies that were in the world. And I'm like, what? How's that? Really? So I think they cut some corners to save time to get this game out for the most part. And that's why this game isn't good or as good as it should be. I don't know, man. Smoke and mirrors. They showed you that first glimpse. And you're like, oh, snap, look at the graphics. Only on the PlayStation SSD power. And then you play it and it's like, yeah, this is trash. Smoke and mirrors, baby. Smoke and mirrors. But anyway, let me know what y'all think. Is Forespoken Forwackened? That was bad. Is Forespoken hot trash garbage? Is Forespoken forsaken to be doomed and damned as a piece of hot trash for PlayStation? I hope they didn't like give them any money to help it with the. I hope they didn't do the thing that they did with Callisto Protocol. I hope they didn't do that. I don't know. But anyway, let me know in the comments. Is it bad as people say? Is it okay? Is it meh? Is it a modern day PlayStation 2 game? I think it is. Let me know, and I'll see y'all guys on the next one. Is it the wave?